Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever this video finds you. I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Work in Progress Wednesday, we've got Kronik from WCW. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. All right, we're back, and like I said, today we are working on Kronik from WCW slash WWE when they were a part of the Invasion. I think it just kind of depends. And like the end of WCW, I was not really watching. I was a kid, and for the most part, I was just watching WWE by that point. So like, I didn't even really know Kronik until I saw them in WWE. And like once I went back and watched them in WCW a bit, like I know them now, but as a kid they weren't like a huge deal to me. And now that I have my own collection that I'm just trying to fill in the holes wherever I can, these guys were a must for me. So I said in my unboxing a while back that I couldn't remember which one was which. I believe this is Brian Clark. I believe that's Brian Adams. And if I'm wrong, once I get these guys fixed up and done, I will correct myself and hopefully stop making mistakes like that. But I think at this point in my wrestling fandom, I have forgotten more than I've learned. There's just so much over the years that if two tag team partners are going to have the same first name, I'm probably going to get them mixed up. Anyway, I want to do Work in Progress Wednesday for these guys, even though like you can kind of see here, I got to paint the heads and then I got to put on decals. But the formulas for these guys were a lot of fun trying to put together. They were I could have taken an easy way out, but I wanted to make sure I had these guys to scale. I wanted to make sure that they looked proportionate, and I'm really happy with how this did turn out. So the torso body, and so I'll just start over here. So I used a old Ultimate Warrior torso, the one that came like Elite 26, I want to say it was, with like Road Dog. He had the spray painted, the airbrush muscle singlet on, and at my Walmart back then, there was, I swear there's thousands of them. It flooded like crazy. So I had a bunch of this torso, a bunch of this Ultimate Warrior. So now if you look it up, I think it's a little harder to come by, but I had a bunch of these. So that is the torso I went with. I don't mind using that Ultimate Warrior torso, because I had so many. The crotch piece. So the crotch piece is a little mix of a couple Triple H figures. So I think it was one of his first DX Elites that, like his DX Elites have just the legs painted in black, molded in black. So the top piece of the legs I kept on the crotch piece, popped off the bottom, popped on a different pair of Triple H legs to give him that like tights look. And then for the lower calves, those are some Undertaker boots with some, shoot, I can't remember the lower calves. They're like the, not Hulk Hogan calves, but they're like that, where they're like this shorter, tall boot mold. I can't even think of someone who has those right now. Maybe I will by the end of the video. But I've got short calves, I've got Undertaker boots, and these guys are both about 6'6", so I'll have some comparisons when I'm done. There was conflicting reports on their heights too, because at first I looked them up, and one of them said they were both 6'6". I've seen them both at 6'6". I've seen one of them at 6'6", one of them at 6'4". It's all over the place. But either way, these were big dudes. They were ripped dudes. So as far as they look right here, I'm really happy with it. And I think once you guys see the comparisons, they'll look good too. But then over here, so this one I think was the most fun for me. I was just trying to mix and match parts. I didn't want to use that same torso because they didn't like. He was supposed to be ripped. He was not as ripped, and he kind of had like a weirder singlet that covered more of his body. So what I did was take the head, that's not what I meant. So I took the Undertaker top picks, because I have a ton of those. I cracked that torso and I put it on an Undertaker crotch piece with the upper legs. So from here to here is Undertaker. The arms for both of these guys, I don't even remember. They're just the plain like tan arms with black tape. And then these lower legs are from a Macho Man. So the black calves, lower legs, whatever, are from a Macho Man, and then the black boots are not the same Undertaker ones. They're a little bit skinnier. Those I think are painted. They were also Macho Man, but these were just some kind of crazy formulas. It took me a long time to get to this point with them, but what I have here I absolutely love. And once I get decals on these guys, once I get the heads painted up, I am really, really excited about how they're going to look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and when I get back, we should have WCW's Kronik. Alright, I am back with my custom Kronik from 2001 Invasion / end of WCW. And I promised I was going to get their names right. Brian Clark is on the left. Brian Adams is on the right in the long tights. Brian Adams, also known as Crush. Also, well, I guess he was known as Crush, but he had a few different iterations of Crush. I think that we should just get a Brian Adams box set with Evil Crush, Kona Crush, Nation of Domination Crush, NWO Crush, and while we're at it, we might as well get that Elite 2-pack of Kronik. Anyway, I love these guys. Really kind of an afterthought for me. I never would have really thought about adding Kronik to my collection. I didn't care for them as a kid. It's not like I'm a huge fan of them. They were like a parody answer to the APA, because the APA was all about their beer and beating people up. Kronik was all about their weed puns and beating people up. And I'm almost positive we never got like a one-on-one match with them, or two-on-two tag match, whatever. But somewhere someone has fantasy booked that. It's happened. Anyway, they turned out great. The head scans, the tones are a little off from what I was liking. I'm okay with them. I might revisit them, but the rest of the head paint I'm really happy with. I'm happy with the eyes. That's always the hardest thing. I don't have a lot of complaints about them. The formulas definitely work for me. The decals go on just fine. They're just kind of there wasn't like a specific place it needed to be, because it's just like that barbed wire pattern. So I'm happy with how those turned out. But they look fantastic on the shelf next to Undertaker and Kane, who I am going to grab real quick. 1 second. Okay, so you can see here, they're right on for height. It just kind of depends on where you look as far as build heights. Kane and Undertaker have both been listed around 7 feet, but they're not. They're the high sixes. Both Kronik members are like 6'6", 6'7". Kane is, 6'7". They're all around there, all around that height, and I think that these guys do a good job standing up to them. Kane is just like a house, especially I think I swapped those Brock Lesnar arms on. I don't remember if those Lesnar arms came on him. But then Undertaker gets a little added height with that beanie, and then that head scan like sits high, so he's a little tall. But like I said, I'm really happy with these guys. They look great. I'll probably put those WCW belts on them. But you never know. Sometimes I just decide it doesn't look good on them anymore. Might go put them on somebody else. But yeah, that's gonna wrap things up. Please like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Hit the notification bell so you can see new videos when I post them. And remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy figures. Figure Dude out.